It always amazed me how quiet and dignified the
yes.
people were when they marched. I can't imagine being that patient.
No.
Can't imagine.
Jesse Jackson,
look
that
at-
must be John Lewis next to Jesse Jackson.
I think one of the things that's important to know is of the arch in the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
The people coming over the bridge had no idea what was waiting for them
No, they
on the
couldn't
other
see.
side
Yeah.
because they couldn't see what was coming.
When they got to the top of the bridge, then they could see
They felt it.
all the troopers with their electric
Pushing.
cattle prods.
Pushing. Oh, look. Remember being in a convent and being so
What I
tense.
was
Look at the
gonna say.
horses.
Riding them down
Tear
with the
gas.
horses, but
I
I can,
remember that.
in the morning,
Riding them.
wasn't it you who asked, Father Willett asked you to get a first
John
aid kit?
Creer. John Creer asked me to get a first aid
First
kit.
aid kit ready?
And I did. Reverend Reese, he was with Reverend Reese and a group of other people that planned to march.
And
I
who's that?
remember Sunday afternoon when they came into the hospital, when people came into the hospital, I was talking with Mrs. Vashti LaShore,
Yes.
and she was on a stretcher in the hospital
Yes,
someplace.
yes,
And she
yes.
said that she had her grandbaby, I think it was, with her marching across, and the horses started kicking, and she fell to the ground, and she covered the baby so that the baby wouldn't get hurt. And I think she had broken ribs or I don't know, broken leg. I'm not sure which, but the horses just kick her until she got up again.
It's Brown
Brown
Chapel.
Church.
Brown Chapel.
Well, I remember the first thing that Sunday, whoever, I think it was Margaret Isabel, was on duty.
On duty.
On Sunday, usually there was only one. And I remember her calling over and saying, will you send all the nurses over? We need them. So I found everybody in the house and they went. And about maybe not even a half hour later, somebody called back and said, will the rest of you come over? We need help over here. So I got the four sisters from school together, and we went over, and we were there till after 9 o'clock that night. I remember taking care of. First thing, I walked in the hospital, John Creer sat me at a table right inside the door and said, will you take registration and put a bracelet on everybody that comes in so we'll know who they are. The people who were tear gassed, they took into the cafeteria, and then the others, I remember some of them coming in, they were so bloody.
They were lining the hall outside of the cafeteria, the staff dining room, lining the hall and the moaning and crying and just trying to get over the results of the tear gas. And I remember the now Congressman John Lewis coming in, and he had a serious concussion as a result of being beaten. I can remember that I was in Central Supply, and I had never heard of Central Supply in my entire life, going back and forth with things for the emergency room, for the nurses and doctors to use. Probably you were in there, Barbara.
I was in the emergency room, and we were being saturated with tear gas. It was on everybody's clothing. So that acrid smell, I mean, we just were covered with it also. And
There's a shot of the Edmund Pettus
Yes,
Bridge that
so you
shows
can
the
tell they
arch where
couldn't
people
see.
could not see.
what was on the other
What was
side?
ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
One
never-
of the doctors, 3 doctors came out and were stitching people up, and they were right there and they were doing it. And one of them, though, kept saying to everybody as he was stitching there, they all had head lacerations from the state troopers' batons. And as he stitched, he kept saying to people, I know that you would never do this on your own. It was outside agitators. I know that you were happy the way things were, or the way things are here. And I mean, he just said it with such conviction. And I thought, well, he's the only one, I think, in this room that has that kind of conviction about people being happy with the way things were.